Good evening and welcome to my show. Let's talk. Bear with me for one moment while I do technical things behind the scene. I have to turn down the volume on certain things and pull up other things. So, yes, good evening. Welcome. Uh, this is a new show I'm doing. It's called Let's Talk. My name is James, and I have over 35 years of working in law enforcement and legal field. I have knowledge as a law research clerk, a military court reporter for the Army and the Navy and the DoD with a top secret clearance. I did undercover operative work overseas. I was an instructor for deception detection techniques for interviewing suspects, as well as a business owner as a private investigator. So I think I'm pretty knowledgeable in tonight's topic. Tonight, we're going to talk about the brutal stabbing murder of Samantha Woll. She's a 40-year-old single woman from Detroit. She was the board president of the downtown Detroit Synagogue. At 6:30 in the morning, Saturday, October 21st, 2023, a little over 3 weeks ago, a neighbor called 911 to report a body laying on the sidewalk on the 1300 block of Juliet Place in the Lafayette Park area of Detroit. Police arrived and determined the woman was stabbed to death from multiple stab wounds. A trail of blood led from where the body lay to the inside of the residence, where police determined the murder had taken place and the victim stumbled outside and fell. There was no sign of forced entry. Investigators confirmed that there were no signs of at the home, and she was found with her wallet and her phone on her. Sources have said there were no defensive wounds either on Miss Woll. It was later discovered Miss Woll attended a wedding the night before. State Senator Stephanie Chang posted a picture of herself, Miss Woll, and the newlyweds at the celebration. Miss Woll then, departed from the wedding at around 12:30 a.m. that Saturday morning. Witnesses from the event stated Miss Woll left alone and was in good spirits, her normal, joyful self. Now, when police arrived on the scene that Saturday morning, it was determined she had been deceased for some time, from what the police chief had said, indicating she was killed as soon as she arrived home or shortly thereafter. Now, police were quick to say that this is not a hate crime. With everything going on in the world, and at that time, almost 3-4 weeks ago, I'm sure that was the first thing they looked at. Some have voiced their opinions about the contrary, but the police have stated the evidence just isn't there for them to follow a hate crime motive. Now, I believe the police are following the correct path about this. They did have evidence of a flag, Israeli flag, that was not desecrated, that was inside her home. So the evidence just doesn't point to that. Now, it should be noted that Miss Woll was very politically active. She recently served as the political director for Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel's reelection campaign, and also worked as a deputy district director for U.S. Representative Elisa Slotkin of Michigan. So now on Wednesday of this last week, November 8th, police made an arrest of an unnamed man who reportedly knew Miss Woll from Kalamazoo. Now, that's where he was arrested, was in Kalamazoo. Now, see, on Friday, November 10th, a couple days later, he was released without being charged. Yesterday, Thursday, it was announced, they had posted Tuesday, but it was announced Thursday that Crime Stoppers issued a $15,000 reward for tips leading to an arrest. Now, that's what we as citizens know this far. The police are keeping the investigation very private and not releasing certain details about the case, certain evidence. They're saying certain evidence that the subject and police only would know. Now, Police Chief White says law enforcement are being very, very careful about what information they share with the public amidst the investigation. I think, they want to get it right. Dot the I's, cross the T's, get it done properly. Now, they said, and I understand, that some of the details were only known to police and the subject, and they want to keep it that way, and that's understandable. Now, there are things to note so far in the investigation, from my point of view, looking at this. Her cell phone and wallet were present. They weren't taken. So therefore, this is not a robbery. There was no forced entry. Police say the murder took place inside the residence. So the person was in the residence laying in wait, or she picked somebody up on the way home from the wedding. It could also be a person waiting for her and approached her as she arrived home. Whichever scenario leads me to think that this is a person close to her. The method of the murder, right? The stabbing, multiple stab wounds. This is indicative of a very personal thing. And I will read this through this and get to the comments in a moment. So please bear with me. There's no defensive wounds, indicating she trusted the suspect enough to not have her guard up. There's no slash marks on her forearms or wrists. And the most important thing, and this is what was very telling to me, the events that transpired with the suspect that was arrested and the wording that was used. Now, sources state that the suspect was taken into custody in Kalamazoo and was questioned. Then, by detectives based on what he had said, he was then being transported to Detroit. And at that time, stopped talking to the detective and asked for an attorney. Now, the statements he made to the detectives were enough for them to arrest him. But after a couple of days, when they either had to file charges against him or released him, they let him go. Now they've not released his name to the public. Sources say that the man was released because the statements he made were ambiguous and open to more than one interpretation, which is not enough for authorities to request murder charges. Now, since detectives went to Kalamazoo specifically to arrest this person, it suggests to me that they are targeting this person already. They went to Kalamazoo, got detained him for whatever reason, questioned him, and on the way of transporting him back to Detroit, he said, hey, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I want an attorney. So they had to arrest him. But there was not enough evidence to charge him. So, sources say the man doesn't have any sort of criminal record, but he remains one of the, if not the biggest suspects available right now in the attack that killed Samantha Woll. So, what happened? Who murdered her? Let me go to the chat here. It says Daniel Kelly. He has family in Kalamazoo, but doesn't necessarily live there. Probably lives in the Detroit area. He supposedly attended her funeral. Yes, it is. I've heard that he did attend the funeral, and again, it's who and why. Now that he made some statements, and we're not sure what those statements were, so we don't know. Is it this suspect that they released? Is he the one? Is it someone she picked up on the way home from the wedding? It was an old boyfriend, a new boyfriend, or was it possibly someone spurned? That they're saying the wallet being present, her cell phone being present, and evidence inside. It sounds like it was not ransacked. It was not a robbery, so this is not a home invasion. No defensive wounds. She was trusting of this person, whoever it was. And Kelly, you're saying no defensive wounds makes me think she was attacked from behind. That's possibly one thing, but again, that tells me that she trusted this person, that it was inside the residence where the murder took place. I mean, she allowed this person into her home. And it was after, she left the wedding at 12:30 in the morning. I don't know how long it took her to get home, but it's, say it's after 1 o'clock in the morning. To allow somebody in your home at that point is very telling. So she trusted this person. It's someone that's known to her. So, letting this person go, if they are still looking at this person as the number one suspect, did they let him go so he can be surveilled? Did they let him go because he isn't the person that did it? And they just jumped the gun. That is not the first time that sort of thing has happened. It's they just have to go through her life, go through her past few months, and find out who she was seeing. Again, to me, this sounds like it's a very personal thing. It was a person very close to her, and just the method of killing. It's a personal thing. So, other opinions. That is what is known so far. There's been nothing released by the police. Everything is pretty much speculation at this point. We have to have somebody that knows her past to please come forward and speak to the police. I have the number down below there scrolling for the Crime Stoppers. So if there's something that please do call and help bring justice for Samantha Woll. Now, I wanted to reach out to the family and offer services, but I think the police are doing their job, and keep this in the news as much as possible in the media. So whatever can be done about it, the more there must be a buzz amongst your friends, as Daniel was saying. Yes. If we just tell the police and authorities what we know, we can figure this out. I will keep everybody updated as much as I can. When new information comes available, I will have an update. So please have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you soon.